Hello and welcome to a very special BSV episode. And I'm saying this is a special episode because, generally women in sports, and again, when I say women in sports, it's not the athletes alone, it's the people who are covering the sports as well. And today we will be discussing not only about our champion athletes, but I'll also throw in questions to you because I have some questions as a woman covering sport, who has played the sport, to someone who has been greatly involved in the whole sports coverage. It's been 12 days that we have been in Paris. So far, how have been your Olympic experience?
Well, my Olympic experience has been fantastic. It's not, see Trisha, it's not only the medals. While we have, celebrated the medals that have come, Swapnil Kusare, Manu Bhakar, but it's also seeing the journey of these athletes,
Absolutely.
Their highs and lows. That's what we are celebrating. So this is my first Olympics and it's been wonderful.
This is my first Olympics from the venue. I worked with Boryada in Tokyo Olympics as well. But since you spoke about Olympics, let me take you a little towards home as well. Of course, you have a teeny tiny daughter who's not so tiny anymore.
She's 10.
Yes, she's a very close friend of mine, just by the way, Aisha. So, of course, you're missing Aisha. But I wanted to ask, how difficult is it as a mother to stay away from a child and someone who's 10-year-old, so she constantly needs your monitoring because we keep seeing, she's calling you, you're telling her, instructing her, even for small things like homework. So how difficult is it as a mother to cope up, strike the balance?
Yeah, sure. See, the thing is, obviously for every mother, it is tough. But again, I'm not the first mother in the world who's doing this because, we have to balance being professionals and being mothers. And yes, if you leave your child, if your child is used to having you around and then you leave your child for a long while, this the duration of the Olympics here, and then, of course, it is a little difficult, but here I'm not thinking as much of myself. For instance, I did this interview with Deepika Kumari, and she has a daughter, 1.5-year-old daughter. And sometimes children that young can't even process where their mother has gone, especially the mother, they're so, viscerally attached to the mother. So Deepika actually broke down, saying, I'm not able to even connect with my daughter because, she's sleeping. And here, I'd also like to talk about fathers. I mean, it's not also only women. I mean, for instance, our team member Abhijit Deshmukh, he said, I haven't seen my younger child in days because he's sleeping. So, but yes, I think, mothers are more involved with their children.
Absolutely. I saw how Deepika and you had a moment during that interview. But that's one side, of course. The fascinating part about women is there are a lot more than directly just athletes. So while we, of course, should celebrate Deepika Kumari because, she came very near to defeating Korea. It's not easy. She did it, even after motherhood. But let's also talk about the women. Our champions, PV Sindhu, came back from an injury. Nikhat Zareen, what champion, but unseeded because of certain federation issues, had to face a tough draw. We saw her break down. The whole
that was heart-wrenching, her breakdown.
Yes, but what I want to ask you is, why are even trolls troll women differently? With men, oh, you're not worth it. With women, you should not be here, you should go home. Why is it that?
Yes, that's something I've noticed, especially in the case of Deepika, that if you've had a child, okay, fine, just hang up your boots. But it's not the fact of having a child. It's nobody is hiding behind the fact that you had a child. It's just that,
And neither is she giving that as an excuse.
Exactly. It's something that we are celebrating as part of her journey. And as far as the others are concerned, Nikhat Zareen, again, a star. We need to celebrate that journey. We are awaiting Vinesh Phogat's performance. Yes. And again, she's a star and we don't know if she will win a medal or not, but that doesn't take away from her struggles and her journey. She's a superstar anyways.
Absolutely. And, when we speak about women, Let's also move to the younger lot, Of course, Manu, everybody now knows Manu. After Tokyo, these were the same people who were harassing her, and the word is harassing. They were harassing her online. In fact, Manu said something very nice that I would like to address here. Manu said she had created a fake social media profile to actually stop people from trolling PV Sindhu.
All right.
And that is so interesting. What I like, so two takeaways. One, Sindhu, after winning 2 medals, still needs to prove something. 2 Olympic medals, by the way. And number two, women supporting women, the best thing that
Best
we can
thing
see.
that can happen. Best thing that can happen, and there should be more of it. There's not enough of it.
Absolutely. Sharmistha, we of course had our Trailblazers conclave. That is where we met some younger lots like the Aisha Singhs,
Sift
Kaur Samra. And somehow, for whatever reason, they failed to make it to the finals of their events. Shrija Akula, I think she was fantastic, just missed by just 1 point here and there. What do you think the younger lot should... they look up to the other champions, of course. B, do you think the online struggle, the way people harass, how do you think the younger lot deal with it?
See, the thing is, I think it's more difficult for the younger lot. They're young, they're less experienced in the world than, say, a PV Sindhu, who has had a long journey. So for the younger ones, I think, they're all in their 20s. They're so young. So this is not the end of their lives. And Olympics is not an easy place. You can easily get flummoxed by so much happening around you. So they will, I'm sure, as some of them have said, for instance, Ramita, in the press conference that she attended, she said that, this is my first Olympics, I will come back stronger. So several of them have said that, and we support that, we celebrate that, and let them go ahead.
Absolutely. I think I'll tell you something interesting, that even now, and I'm working in the sports industry behind the camera for about 6-7 years, and I have myself been a sports person. But even then, in the room, when you're sitting with men, maybe they have never played sport, but somehow they know more sport than you, because that's the kind of things that we deal with. But one last question before I close the show. Do you think if more and more women, A, stand up for each other, and B, involve, into sporting banters and commenting, tweeting, you think this will change?
Yes, obviously, more women should actively participate, not only, obviously in sport, but also, in the discourse around sport. And I'd like to end with something that, I covered. We covered Rahul Dravid when he was here in India House. I covered him. And he said this was the day of Manu Bhakar's first win. And he said that this is the most encouraging thing, because it will encourage more and more girls to take up sport. So that, I think, is great. More girls coming into sport, more girls playing, and more women in the discourse around sport.
Absolutely. And I will end the show saying that more corporates like BSV supporting women in sports will, of course, encourage women to take up more sport. And the more we stand up for each other, we stand together, and we are in this battle together. Thank you so much.